Hello. Hello, audience.
Hello, hello.
Please let us know if you can hear us. Is our sound happening? Oh, Red Chris says yoeth.
Yeah.
That means yes.
Yeah.
Audio exists.
Audio. Jose.
I like that Morgan is on a boat. That's very good.
Yes, I like the background. Morgan's background with
clean fetid.
Yep, with freshly washed fetid.
For now.
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna take him like 2 seconds to be filthy again.
All right. Well, hello, audience. Welcome. I will do that thing that I always do at the beginning of the game, where I say things. So, hello, internet friends and webcomic fans. It's your friendly neighborhood dungeon biologist, welcoming you to another episode of Trash Heroes, the Dungeons & Dragons stream, where we recount the epic adventures of a wildly improbable collection of horrible creatures we call the Trash Heroes. And without further ado, well, first I guess I'll do the thing where I say, check out our stuff. If you go and look in the upper right, you will see a bunch of everybody's links, including our special guest, John Kovalik. Check out everybody's Patreons and social medias and websites and all that good stuff. Support your local artist. And of course, if you would like to support the stream, there's also a Patreon in the link below in the description. And without further ado, after that little bit of ado, I will introduce the characters. Not yet with us tonight, but will be later on, is, of course, the Keeper of the Vermin, Protector of the Trash Heap, Fetid Quaggle. But already here with us is the larger-than-life pit-fighting superstar, who is Ugna Sugar Tusks.
Oh yeah, it's bone-crushing time.
Absent tonight is our trickster cleric, so I will leave Tromlin, who is currently cursed and asleep. I'm going to retcon that, but I'll mention that in a moment.
A fairy slumber.
Next, there is the wild magic streaming sensation, who is Morgan the Satyr.
Hello, hello.
And finally, our sweet old grandpa, who's also accidentally an ancient warlock, Copernicus Sunshine.
I'm going to live so long I watch the universe die.
You're a warlock?
And joining us this week is special guest John Kovalik, playing the same character he's played before, if you're a longtime fan, Sir Godfrey Franklin Tusk the Fourth, I believe.
The Fourth.
Making sure I get it correct.
The I comes before the V most of the time.
And we will introduce him shortly. So when we last left our heroes, loosely defined, of course, the party was spending some time making plans, having defeated the Quagillithid in the sewers of Dwemmerdell. They were planning their journey and the various factions around the world who they want to alert to the dangers of this necrogog they have learned about and the various apocalyptic stuff in general. And they were doing this planning at the Sunshine School for Peculiar Youngsters. They discussed getting word to Glorpa and Dangalf, the wizard, and the dwarves of Rockspire, and the elves of Elvenholm, Don Garfeldo. You sure could.
There we go.
Don Garfeldo and the Maestro and whoever else they could think of. And then they went to the marketplace to get some supplies, a cart for their journey, and were interrupted when suddenly a black-robed city guard appeared and summoned the party before the Shrouded Ones, the mysterious dark sorcerers who run the city of Dwemmerdell, and magically transported them to the council chambers. There the group was put under a zone of truth and told that someone had accused Copernicus of bringing dangerous proscribed magics to the surface of the city. Ooh. And of course that was a terribly unjust accusation, other than the fact that it was true. You know, but that, yeah, whatever. And when the team started to get a little bit mouthy, and it seemed like they would likely be thrown in prison or worse, Copernicus suddenly realized that the Magi were detecting the pages of the dark Quagillithid book that were on his person, and heard the dark voice offering him untold power if he were to summon a great demon and escape with the pages intact. Copernicus managed to resist on the advice of his friends, and/or chose to, but couldn't break the compulsion to keep the pages hidden. So the group kind of turned up the charm, listed a bunch of witnesses who could back up their story, including Bert Picknuckle the Halfling and the High Priestess of Lolth, Gary the Beholder.
Gary Gygax.
You'll be pleased to know his name. His full name is Gerald Gygax, or Igax.
Igax.
Sorry, Gerald Igax. And they all gave testimony that painted a good picture of the party. And Tromlin pickpocketed the evil pages off of Perny, and Copernicus took a black token to ensure that the pages managed to be snuck out of the room undetected by Tromlin's monkey familiar.
That's not going to come back and bite us.
And that definitely is not going to have any bearing on the evil voice in Copernicus's head. However, this led to a very long, protracted legal discussion with the Shrouded Ones, during which Tromlin fell asleep. He seems to have picked up an STC from his sexual escapades with the Fae, a sexually transmitted curse, and he is unable to be woken. So the group just sort of went, well, we've seen this sort of thing with Tromlin before, and have carried him along with you. But leaving the city central authority, you encountered the masked Loxodon pit fighter known as Kangar the Strangler, who turns out to be on a Loxodon ship leaving in the morning. So the party has negotiated passage, got their things on board, learned a number of interesting things from the pit fighters, particularly that the wars in the area have heated up and prevented a lot of international trade, and that the fighting circuit has kind of died down. Morgan, you decided that it was a good idea to then send word ahead to your contacts in Ravenfall in order to try and set up a big match between Kangar and Ugna. So that is likely going to be happening soon. And I had said that Tromlin had gotten his curse removed and awoken, but just because Randy can't be here today, I am retconning that. He is still asleep and fairy magicked on the ship. And so the ship has made a day's travel down the Firth. Alina, you have the map up?
Yep. I have the really wide map. Do we want a closer one?
Yeah, if you go to the Northlands map.
All right. Give me a second.
I'll just point out where the party is and where the party's going. Now that the party has started.
Oh, the party's been going all night.
Friday. Oh, yes. The party has been partying
at
all
Dwimmerdale,
night.
down here, almost off
And
screen.
so, yes, the party has made it up the Firth towards the Dragon's Isle, skirting that terrifying volcano, which is really a portal to the Plane of Fire.
Oh, that's cool.
And have made it up towards the angle, heading up towards Ravenfall, and just coming around the angle at dawn, the lookouts have announced that they have spied something. So we did a bunch of rolls to determine that Ugna, despite all the drinking, feels completely fine and is actually up early and exercising.
Obnoxiously chipper in the morning.
Copernicus, of course, as always, doesn't sleep and is just sort of pretending to wake up and going, oh, yes, stretch. What a restful sleep.
I still ask every morning how you slept, and whether you're hungry.
Dreams, have those.
Is this calls himself woke or?
Yeah. Yes, I woke like all the other kids. Yes.
Good.
And Morgan, I can't remember if I had you make a Constitution save.
No.
But I think I'll do that now.
I made other people imbibe.
Yeah, so you're pretty
straight.
you're pretty fine here. This is mostly just to determine whether you're up early.
Oh yeah. I have to do my morning routine. I have several masks. Unlike the other satyr, I do perform my daily rituals to stave off contracting
Aging?
kind of aging. Well, yes, obviously I moisturize, unlike him, but also to stave off the STCs.
Some magical prophylactics.
You have to do your protection spells daily, and some people need to learn the hard way.
Prophylactory.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, give me a quick con save just so I can place you in terms of drowsiness at this particular juncture.
Oh, crit! What a useless
Nice.
crit.
What a wasted nat 20. Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
feel
up
great.
and chipper and just fine. As soon as Ugna gets up and starts making noise, you're actually feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I roll like out of a pile of ropes on deck. And just immediately sort of like, yep, start doing some push-ups.
And so at the time that the call comes from the masthead, that one of the lookouts has spied something, Ugna, you're already up and starting your morning routine. Morgan, you're just sort of rolling into bed. Copernicus, of course, you were awake the whole time. I hear some little
Never
birds.
sleeps.
Are the boys like sitting next to the...
No, they're across the room. They're just really beepy.
Oh, my goodness. They want to play too. So the lookout says that he sees something in the distance as the dawn is breaking and the light is growing. I could take perception checks from those who want to try and get a clear look at what it is.
Yeah.
2.
You're
I
like
see
just standing
nothing.
on the deck. Yeah, you're on the deck and trying to look. Like, you know, the lookout's got
Yep.
like a vantage point, so you can't even see it yet. It's not even like over the horizon for you, and you're like, what? Where?
I'm looking the
the
wrong
wrong
way.
direction.
I'm looking. They were like, "It's out the port side," and I turned to starboard.
Yeah, you're looking at
I
like
haven't figured that out yet.
You're
I
looking
haven't-
at the Dragon's Isle in the distance. You're like, oh yeah, I can see
There's
it.
an island. It's over there.
I also looked in starboard, but like, I didn't find any birds. Weirdly, I rolled an 8. I have a +6 for perception.
That's not terrible.
We're doing great today.
Where
You
are
quit-
the birds?
Nobody
Is
finds
Copernicus-
anything. I'll just be floating out here in the distance. Don't worry.
I got a
Fine.
16.
This was a
but
fun
Bernie-
game. The invite.
Yeah, you just float on by and like, bye, see ya.
Purdy got a 16, but he will pretend to climb the rigging up to the crow's nest, but he's just using his boots of flying.
Yep.
Crap, he's real spry.
So the 14, 16 are good enough. So Morgan, you quickly realize that you're not going to see it from the deck, and you do your crazy light leap and jump
Oh, yeah.
way the hell up the mast, and quickly find yourself up at the masthead with a surprised-looking turtle who is currently on lookout. And Copernicus flies up while vaguely miming climbing the rungs, and make your way up there. And you can see in the distance, along with the lookout, what looks like a ship. And the lookout is straining his eyes and calls down that there's like a ship ho, and gives like a number of points off the bow in some kind of archaic positioning system that you don't understand. But you notice, Copernicus, with your 16, that ship seems to be in trouble.
Ooh.
It's a dark painted ship, which kind of implies it's like a smuggler or something similar. Painted sort of dark green or dark blue to kind of look normal surface of the water kind of colors. But it appears to be a brig shipped, like a 2-master, but one mast is missing.
It's never good.
So it only has a 4-mast. It hasn't got a main mast, and there's only a couple of scraps of sail, sort of limping it along through the waters, and it's also foundering a bit low in the water. So it's either very, very heavily laden, or it's in some trouble.
So I think I'll yell out to like to the party anyway, or the companions that I together, but like the ship looks to be in distress. They're down a mast. Is our course changing? Is our ship changing course to go towards it? Does it look like we're going to do a little bit of rescue here?
Not yet. You
Okay.
imagine that the ship's captain is trying to make a decision about, seeing a ship and how far of a berth he wants to give it.
This seems like a job for Morgan. I'm gonna be like, do you think you could convince? I think we need to help them out.
Oh yeah. I'll saunter over to the captain and go, shouldn't we be doing something about this? I'll use persuasion.
Are you letting the captain know what Copernicus told you about the
No,
ship
because
looking to be in trouble?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But I was just my first line, and then that's a 16 on the dice plus.
Oh, plus a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's you. So
This ship seems to be in a bit of a pickle, and I think we should probably intervene and save some lives. Just say it.
Yeah, your his initial predilection here seems to be to give it a wide berth. You remember people talking last night about things that, travel being a little dicey right now, and so he's sort of was already giving orders to kind of like steer away. When you let him know, oh, it's a small ship, it's lost a mast, it's looks like they're in trouble. And we should probably help them out. And you quickly persuade him with your ridiculous social presence. Yeah, you have a +8, so that means you rolled a 24. So yeah, he is. You bat your eyelashes at him as you were doing last night. His name is Captain Ulf, by the way.
Alfie, let's go. We need to cut the
Alfie.
phase.
So Ulf orders his helmsman to steer in that direction, and they begin to close the distance fairly quickly, since you've got the prevailing winds and are the much bigger and faster ship. And so in due course, your ship draws near as the dawn grows and full light. You come to see this like obviously badly damaged dark painted ship. It looks like a very fast ship, like a two-masted schooner rather than a true brig, but one of the masts is broken. Like there's a stump of a mainmast, like it's been shattered, and there's still a ton of ropes hanging loosely around on the ship. And there's only a handful of people on deck. In fact, a bunch of the ropes are being kind of pulled by nobody. You see no individuals, and the ropes just kind of moving themselves. But you also recognize both Copernicus and Morgan have high enough perception rolls here to spot some Loxodons among the crew. There's a couple of dwarves on deck, and there's a couple of Loxodons, but Copernicus recognizes those Loxodons as Timothy and Thomas.
excellent.
Perny will shout and use thaumaturgy to amplify his voice. Like, it's Timothy, and Sir Godfrey. They must be in trouble. We must make a course immediately. And I'm also, just out of curiosity, can I use my laser eyes to see what they have in the hold? Just, I'm curious. I'm curious what they're lugging.
A lot of water.
Oh no.
So you'll see, below decks, and of course, Sir Godfrey, you hear this thaumaturgically amplified voice come across the waves, and you've already been called down to by one of the dwarves on deck that a ship. We might be saved. There's a big ship bearing down. Looks like an Alphaletian ship, which of course you're immediately, thank God.
Hide the good silverware.
So below decks, you will see through with your ghostly gaze through the hull. You'll see the strange constructs that Sir Godfrey uses as a caravan. These kind of like walking hippo bodies without heads, kind of like legged caravan thingies that are all laden about with tack in order to have various bags and stuff. And they've got all kinds of cargo on them, as always. There's a number of other crates and stuff in the hold, but a whole section of the hold is actually kind of emptied. Um, it looks to you like the hull was smashed, and part of the goods that were stored in the aft end of the hold actually were like swept out to sea. Um, and there's a bunch of unseen magical creatures and other constructs manning the pumps down here, um, along with a couple of other dwarves. In total, you see a crew of, other than Sir Godfrey himself and Timothy and Tomothy, you see a crew of only three surviving dwarves, plus a hefty-looking fellow at the helm, at the tiller. And the two dwarves who are on deck are, busily trying to kind of repair things and keep the ship moving. And Godfrey in the hold is in the process of doing inch by inch mending on the hull, taking small bits.
Some would call it mending. Others would say inventory. Just making sure the important stuff is still here.
Yep. All the stuff on your constructs is still firmly where it was put.
How close is the large ship to our floundering schooner?
Yeah.
So as you come up on deck, and you will see this mighty three-masted Alphaletian merchant vessel with the typical curved prow that comes down from a castle to a big ram-like thing that sticks just under the surface of the water, which is the typical design of the Loxodons of Alphaletia. And of course, you immediately are like doing calculations, because you're like, right, if this is a Phoenician merchant ship, you should be able to, how much is it going to cost me, basically, to get my goods and materials ferried. Hoping that somebody. You don't recognize the ship at a glance, so you're hopeful that maybe you know somebody involved in this particular venture. But they are bearing down as though to come alongside, not like an attack.
Okay.
Are there I don't know what ship words are. The tiny little ships that are on the side of the big ship. They're like emergency ships.
Lifeboats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or jolly boats in the parlance of the time. Yes, those are indeed existent.
Could we deploy those to help them? Is that a thing we should do? She's asking the crew members.
Yeah,
The
you're saying this to the
Yeah.
captain.
Yeah.
And they will.
Is that going to be big enough for them?
The captain will kind of. Captain Ulf will say, "Should do. Ship's crane might be sufficient if it's just a few people, but I'm sure they'll have cargo. This looks like a smuggling ship to me."
Microaggression.
Hey, Perny, did you
And,
see that Sir Godfrey over there?
Yeah, it's Sir Godfrey and Timothy and Tomothy and a couple other crew members, but it seems there's not enough people on board the ship to keep it running.
Mm.
Seem to be in quite.
He's probably got lots of stuff, too.
Pernicus, hypothetically, if the ship were larger, would it be able to maybe get rid of some of the fucking water in it and maybe not sink?
I think definitely getting some of the water out of the ship would help it not sink.
Would it being larger help that?
Oh, can I do some kind of physics check? if the ship were to be somehow magically enlarged, would the amount of water in it be less effective at
Sinking it?
causing it to sink?
I'm pretty sure the enlarge spell only works on creatures.
It's objects.
Does it work on objects?
Yep. Creature or an object you can see within range. And I think it's one size category. It's a saving throw for creatures if they're not willing.
Just trying to decide whether to consider a ship an object.
Hmm.
The general rule of thumb for things like a ship or a city or a building is that it's considered a number of it's made of objects as opposed to it is an object. But I would entertain interesting use of our special abilities. You've got like multiple inspirations and hero points if you wanted to spend something to do
Oh yeah.
a funky.
My idea is that if we make the ship larger, it might be enough out of the water for some parts, or just be holding less water, and therefore, for at least a minute or two, we can get as much out of there as we can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could
find
always
something else.
fly over and just see how bad the damage is, and if it's like, this isn't worth fixing, maybe we can keep it afloat long enough to get cargo off.
Well, I need to be in range anyways, so
Yeah.
let's go, and then she'll just jump over, using her beautiful little heels.
Yep. Yeah, you can do your satyr magic leap thing
Nice.
and just hop between the ships as they come alongside.
Can I make
Captain
a
Ulf.
performance? Sorry, can I make a performance roll as part of that?
Good.
Oh, just to do it especially
Fancy.
Of
Fancy?
course, yes.
And Ugna, you can jump over with
I
your
can jump
magic
over.
boots as well.
Yep. I will also roll performance. Let's get fancy about this.
Oh yeah, let's just.
Huh. Not super great. Only a 12.
Yeah, I
Good
rolled
enough.
a 0 too.
Good enough. You guys turn it into like a superhero movie. So like, yeah, as you're pulling
6
up
plus
alongside,
6 plus 8 for me.
that's
Yeah,
14.
that's the 14.
So, as Captain Ulf is like at the rail shouting across to this other ship, and he says, "Ship ho! What ship is that?" And to which the dwarf captain on the other ship, who says, "It be the Darkling Swell, Captain Broadbeard."
Not so swell at the moment, I'm afraid.
Is Godfrey say that?
Yes.
Speaking of which, Alina, do you want to like put up the picture of Sir God? Oh, I guess it's on his. He's got his icon.
Yeah.
But
But
I
I
was
can
just thinking.
also put it up larger,
Yeah, put up the larger
so you
picture
can see
just so
Timothy and
that
Timothy better.
just so that Raven, who has not yet met Sir Godfrey,
Yeah,
can see
he's familiar.
the excellent Babar style.
Oh, that's the wrong folder.
Alina, I just saw your post in the chat. Nice.
Right. There's a chat. What?
Oh, on
It's
the
only
Twitch, on
partially
the actual
accurate.
Twitch channel.
It's only partially accurate, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Alina posted, "Ship ho is no
You're
way
not
to
always
speak
on a
about
ship. And there's our good Sir Godfrey.
Sir Godfrey and his small Loxodon companions, who are like dwarf-sized, hobbity
Cute.
Yeah.
hobbity Loxodons named Timothy and Tomothy. Oops. God damn it. Hang on a second. I just
Lane
accidentally
is
had
playing a game.
No, I clicked on a stupid thing, and Discord is trying to make me do something. And I'm
Discord's
like, no,
trying to
go
be
away.
like a game service. I don't know why. I don't know what they're doing.
Stupid Discord. Yes.
There you go.
So as this conversation, so he says yes, Captain Broadbeard, and the Darkling Swell, to which Captain Ulf responds, "This is the Ivory Rose, Captain Asg Ulf. What is your need?" And so he is then cut off as
Sir
as
Godfrey!
superheroes fly across.
My friend
Hey! It's been a while.
is to see my friends.
Looks like you're in a bit of trouble here. Are you doing alright?
I've had better trips, to be frank. This is what you get when you pay steerage, I suppose. Yeah, it's very good to see you. We're not sinking currently, I think, which is a good thing, especially when you're on a ship. And yeah,
what happened here?
it's
I'll just quickly describe though that so with these rolls for the crossing, Ugna does like a leap and superhero landing, boom, on the deck of the other ship. Morgan does like a dainty leap as well, but then floats like a feather to the deck with 1 foot. And then Copernicus just kind of like flies across with the others like limply like a dead thing in the air, but probably does like a
like a fake jump. Yeah,
a fake jump.
Jumping.
Are there like
and then like
ghost sounds that come out?
You like do a little tiny hop, but then you just stay in the air and travel horizontally to the other ship.
And he and then just like he's just being carried like a sack of potatoes by an invisible hand, slowly, and then deposits him on the deck, and he goes, "Hello."
You're very good at jumping.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you. I've been practicing.
Well, it's been how long has it been since I've seen you, my friends? It must be only days, but it seems like a year or more.
Well, I reckon it's been 20 sessions.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, it
At
seems
least
like
a chapter.
seems like only 4 sessions ago. Where does the time go? It's been a mostly successful journey up until now. This does seem to put a bit of a damper on things, if you don't mind that turn of phrase. We have been when you left us in Ravenfall, we had some extremely good merchandising. We sold much of our stuff. Stuff is the technical term we merchants use. And then we, picked up more stuff and moved on to Drumerdale, where we spent some time because I was particularly interested in registering my company, the Beast India Trading Company. We deal in beasts of all nature these days and magical items. And we're about to return to our homelands, and I had heard rumors of increased brigand activity along the Great Ring Road. And I decided it would be prudent to possibly go onto the seas. And we hired this very legitimate vessel here, extraordinarily. In fact, I was told that the name was the Legitimacy, but apparently I was misled on many things during this trip, not least of which was its seaworthiness. Nor its ability to handle monstrous attacks from below. Frightful. It was a rum thing. But last night, the ship was attacked by a great creature from below. Nobody was able to get a good look at this. There are tentacles all over the place. Frankly, it was almost pornographic. I was shocked. And there was some mysterious music was playing, and it drove some of the crew mad, and some of them jumped overboard. I believe it was Coldplay. I could be mistaken. Nobody was able to get a really good handle on what it was, and they just hurled themselves overboard. One of the 2 masts was just torn down by the great tentacle. And the remaining skeleton crew has just been trying to keep up with the damage. I've been doing my part to help repair as best we can not sink because obviously we've got the caravan on here as well.
I immediately look
And-
around for skeletons.
Yes.
Do they
That was a turn of
Sure.
phrase. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
Sorry, we've been having trouble with like undead things lately. It's been a problem.
I'm trying to be more open-minded, and I realize that names matter. So I will write that down and keep that for the future. But yes, we've been taking in water, and not on purpose, I hasten to add. And yes, any help possible, is frankly, it is so good to see you. It is so very good. Can I? Oh, my friends.
Hey, right
Hey.
here.
Have a cup of tea, please.
Oh, thank you.
Timothy and Tomothy can whip some up. There's plenty of water about, certainly.
As you
I
say this,
wouldn't.
I've been keeping a stiff upper tusk. What?
as you say this, Timothy and Tomothy are like running around in the background, frenziedly, following orders and pulling ropes and taking turns running down to help man the pumps.
And
You'll also recall. Yeah, they're like, you all recall that Sir Godfrey has a number of permanent unseen servants, who, of course, are also helping to man the pumps and keep the ship running.
I like to think of them as the Light Brigade.
Indeed.
So,
Good.
just to clarify here, Sir Godfrey, you set out on a ship that was supposed to be ocean-worthy, but was not. You've had to since supplement it with this magical, invisible crew, and then you were unfortunately attacked by some kind of tentacle monster that saw your ship as a kind of bait. You were no longer able to progress, and you need to make your way across the sea. Is that correct?
That's yes. That is the Cliff's Notes versions. Yes.
Well, then I suppose we can now title this Sir Godfrey's ocean-rated, automated, phantom-aided, ill-fated, monster-baited, tentacle-invaded, kraken-raided, now blockaded sea voyage. Is that not true?
I wish you hadn't said that.
Ugna looks very confused, but I knew you were going there. I couldn't figure out the pun, but I knew you were going there.
So
You, sir, are nothing but a monster baiter.
as this discussion has been happening,
Well, not in public.
the two captains have carried on their negotiation and have quickly transferred a handful of crew from the Ivory Rose to begin the process of moving things between the ships.
So God is looking around as if there is some inspiration point that somehow will come down to Copernicus after that.
It's a lot right off the top of your head.
Usually spend the full session trying to come up with a long rhyming name for your thing, but this one flowed quickly. Can I do some kind of history check or arcana check to try and figure out what kind of monster might have attacked the ship?
You can. In fact, make the history check first, or actually, I'm thinking your history bonus might apply here, right? So make me a history check, but it's difficulty 15, and you have a plus 10. So just roll and tell me if it's below 5.
It's below 5.
Or you actually failed it. Okay.
13.
All right.
Can we get a reroll for a good
just
pun?
You know what? I will. I was thinking about giving you an inspiration at John's request. I'm going to specifically give you a reroll on this roll instead.
All right. I appreciate that. I will use it. Rolled a 4.
No.
Just one short.
It's not your day.
Yeah.
You know
Sorry.
what? I'll call that a success because John's suggestion I will count as a guidance,
Excellent.
which will give you a
Give me a
plus
plus
1d4, which is a minimum of 1. So that means you can make your Arcana check with a plus 3.
Okay.
Although with those rolls, I'm not confident. We'll see.
Hey, there we go. 28.
That's
All right,
better.
Okay. So you know of a number of different sea monsters that this could be, or quite possibly some joining of forces of sea monsters, which frequently happens.
I feel like siren. There's a siren component and then
Yeah.
a kraken component. That's what it feels like.
the thing that with that huge roll, the thing that immediately strikes you as a possibility is an aboleth, because that aboleths
no.
can do both,
Nope.
right? Aboleths are both large tentacle beasts and also can
Oh, let's get the hell out of here.
control people.
Yeah.
The other possibility is, and far more likely, because aboleths are fairly rare, another possibility is that it is sirens or merfolk with siren powers, which occurs frequently, who have giant octopi. An actual kraken would not possibly have left this vessel intact.
Okay.
And an aboleth, too, probably would have destroyed this thing. The chances of them getting away from an aboleth without further issue than they seem to have encountered seems somewhat unlikely. I mean, you don't know the whole story. You don't know how they got away or what they did. But a lesser possibility, or a less dangerous possibility, might have simply been one of the kraken-like giant octopods that exist and are often tamed or semi-tamed or controlled by merfolk, which would also. So those two possibilities are the main ones.
So like a Drider, but like sea-style siren lady.
Yeah, or group of them, which would have likely had like octopus-type critter allies, or I should say giant, like big enough to actually attack a ship. A kraken would be big enough to demolish the Ivory Rose. Like,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
to put it in mechanical terms, your Arcana tells you that a kraken is a challenging 23, and therefore not likely to have been involved here.
I think I'll tell the whole group this, and I'll say, I wonder if we should start distributing earplugs or something. Would that be prudent at this time?
It's not a bad idea.
And your Arcana check does tell you that kind of a strategy does work well against the music of merfolk and siren types, siren type fey creatures. Say again?
Would I be affected by that?
So you have all kinds of resistances against fey type things, which would be effective against siren like creatures, but not against merfolk, which are not fey. Their magics are more like normal sorcery.
I see.
Would that be a charm attack?
Yeah, it would be like a charm attack.
So Loxodon Serenity is what got me through. What
Yeah.
got us through?
Yeah, you certainly didn't fall victim.
I think I'm gonna start finding, like, if we have any candles on board or something, I'm gonna start like trying to warm up some wax for earplugs, and I might just quickly like chat with the captains and actually, I think Morgan has a very good rapport with the captains.
Yeah.
And maybe can if you can ask, like, if you wouldn't mind asking permission, I might start trying to make some little earplugs for the crew in case they come back, because I have a feeling that they're if they see a rescue vessel coming, they're gonna just hit us next.
You got a lot of cargo still on here, right? And you want to take it with us?
Yes.
Okay. Hey,
This-
pit fighters! And I will organize a pit fighter, like when you're like a bucket brigade, but for cargo, for really, really, really large boxes.
Nice.
Nice.
So while this is going on, a fairly involved and at times heated discussion has been happening between Captains Broadbeard and Ulf, and in the end, Captain Broadbeard, looking a little defeated and knowing that his ship is basically done for otherwise, agrees to effectively give up all of his share or whatever, or what he's getting from Sir Godfrey for transport, in exchange for that basically is being transferred to Ulf. So Broadbeard will come over to Sir Godfrey and the rest of you where you're having this discussion, and say, it's agreed, we're moving all the cargo to this great ship.
It is a great ship. Any ship that doesn't sink right now is pretty great, I have to say.
And also, it's an Alphaletian ship, right? It's the ship, a ship of your people,
Yes, yes.
the greatest vessels afloat.
The particularly comfortable berths, frankly.
Hmm. Um,
It can
and
fit so many dwarves into an Alphaletian ship.
yeah, I mean it's a Loxodon ship, so it's a huge ship. So yeah, so quickly you all begin. I won't worry too much about
Specifics.
mechanics between the jolly boats, the ship's crane, and your various magics. You manage to quickly get what's left of Broadbeard's cargo, along with Broadbeard's variously cargo of various legality. I think that's the magic item name for that for those kind of crates, as well as Sir Godfrey's caravan of strange construct monstrosities, and get them stowed on board the Ivory Rose. And there is further discussion of whether it's possible to magically fix up the other ship to the point where it could be salvaged, or whether it should just be scuttled. Since you've done a bunch of mending already, Sir Godfrey, yeah, the ship isn't in the worst possible shape. And after a brief negotiation, and maybe a little bit more application of mending. Morgan also has mending, so between the two of you, you can do a little. Along with Captain Ulf's ship's carpenter, it is agreed that a handful of Captain Ulf's crew will go with the remaining dwarves and Captain Broadbeard and take the now lighter and less in danger Darkling Swell the one day's journey back up the Firth to Dwemmerdale, where it can be properly repaired and so forth. So you spend maybe a couple hours with the two ships lashed alongside each other, transferring cargo. The carpenters go over and put up a jury-rigged second mast. They re-rig the ship so it's got enough sails to actually, not be limping along at like a knot and a half like it has been, and pick a few of Ulf's crew to go aboard, and they head back to Dwemmerdale. And so by noontime, you're all well along on your way. Sir Godfrey, Captain Ulf will let you know that they made this agreement since he is already he is bound for Ravenfall where you were bound for. So he is going to enact the contract that you had for safe passage to Ravenfall.
Safe.
Yes. Well, as safe as can be. And the original contract had all the usual adventurer caveats of we're not responsible for cracking
acts of monster. Literal acts of
random
gods.
whirlpools to the plane of water.
It's a long list of caveats.
It's a standard list for a Dungeons and Dragons themed contract.
For adventurers' hijinks.
Yep. We're not responsible for acts of the gods. Yada yada.
Ill-considered plans of the adventure party. Nope.
Active PC.
Yeah, and so you're
It
all
feels
partied up here.
good to be back on a Loxodon vessel. Frankly, it's been a while that we've been on the road, and Sir Godfrey is looking around, and just you can sort of see just the hint of a smile under his valuation of everything in sight.
Excellent. You will note that Ugna is still wearing the patch that you gave her. She's got a big patch on the back of her jacket and one on each shoulder.
Yes, the sponsorship.
advertising.
Yes, a good old sponsorship deal.
Yes. That has worked out wonderfully. We've had many inquiries.
Good.
So
Well, I mean, after that big
Facts.
match in Ravenfall last time, like I'm sure that was good publicity.
we ran out of
folks-
track.
Oh,
We
nice.
Totally ran out of keys. Even the valuable ones.
Well, we're gonna have another big fight probably next time we're there. So like, a few days from
Oh.
now.
Wonderful. You can see Sir Godfrey's pupils turn to little gold signs.
Excellent. Good.
You have that's like prestidigitation. You just do that every time by habit. You actually have a handful. You had started to develop a prototype Ugna plushie
Right.
during the last.
Yes, Timothy and Timothy were on it.
Yes, and so you should be able to have like a number of those ready, especially if you can find a manufacturer in Ravenfall to like crank a few more out.
It depends because the limbs have got to be posable and I would like the head to
You need,
bobble.
you need a lot of stuffing.
Yes.
What was that toy from the '70s that was like the wrestler guy that you
Oh,
could
Stretch.
like flex and
Stretch
bend?
Armstrong.
Stretch
Yeah,
Armstrong.
yeah.
Yes.
Stretch Ugnar. Yes. I love that. We'll probably find some fill it with some gelatinous cube or something like that. From and
My biggest
seal,
fan's a gelatinous cube.
seal it properly so it doesn't go off or anything like that. And
Yeah.
Apparently, it's bird butt time.
you
Hmm.
can see tiny little wheels turning in Godfrey's
In
mind.
his head. Excellent. I'll introduce you to my buddy who is also a pit fighter. Yeah, this is Kangar. He's we're gonna probably be doing a match next time we're there. That's will be the headline fight. I mean, we gotta talk to Basilisk though, because like it's her ring, but I'm sure she'll be okay with it.
Hengar, you say Hengar. So is one of you the good guys and one of you the bad guys? Or...
Well, I mean, we're both kind of the heel usually, right? Kang, Big K.
Kangar. So Kangar is a Loxodon who wears like a luchador mask, and is like
How does
bare-chested.
Really big mask, frankly.
It's just specially made with holes for like the ears and the tusks and the trunk.
But
and all that.
how do you get them over those things?
It's got to be like stitched on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
and it goes all the
probably
way
got,
down
like,
the trunk.
It's like two pieces, and then there's laces on the sides to actually put the two pieces together. That's why he just leaves it on all the time, because it's a pain in the
Yeah.
ass to take on and off.
Yeah.
Pain in the
But
mask.
he's you've actually heard of him, Sir Godfrey. He is one of the great champion pit fighters of the South, and very well known in Alphalesia. He's Kangar the Strangler.
Oh, that Kangar. That Kangar, the
Yes.
Strangler. Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you like say the Strangler. Of course, I know Kangar the Strangler.
Of course.
And you
Well,
don't want to
yes.
confuse him with Kangar the Asphyxiator. Totally
No,
different.
no, different
Totally
brand.
different pit fighter.
Very different brand.
And
He's-
Trunk in the South.
Yeah.
The strongest trunk in Zaru.
See, Big K, this is the guy I was telling you about last night with the sponsorship deal. Like, it's been really good for my career. You should look into it.
I'll have Timothy and Timothy run up some contracts, and we'll discuss this over a meal, perhaps. And
Yeah.
Oh, a sponsorship.
as opposed to a sinking ship, which is the
Yeah.
best kind of.
You just came from one of those.
Awful.
This is a good time, I think, for me to give a couple of bits of news here. So first of all, to the chat, I've mentioned, but for those who might not be on the chat and looking at the stream later, there are a bunch of new emojis that you can access. So feel free in the chat to go and look and unlock at some of those funky emojis. We now have a bunch of the characters.
Looking for a Sir Godfrey emoji, not seeing one, disappointed.
Yeah, they're not all up
Yeah.
there yet, are they, Alina? Because I'm only seeing 5, right? And I know there were more than that. But more to come.
Yeah, just those for now. And we have the Nat 20.
There's a potential animated one I just put into the chat for you.
Those are nice. You do those, Elena?
Yeah,
Or-
thank you.
Okay, those are very cool.
Where did you put one,
Oh,
Raven?
it's
In our Discord?
In the
Oh,
Discord.
in the Discord.
Nice.
Chat.
Cool. So, just so that the audience knows, some new, awesome, cool emotes coming your way. Anybody who's watching this afterwards on YouTube or something, a good excuse to come and jump on stream next time and grab some of those juicy emotes.
La 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 emotes world.
Exactly. And then secondly, I would like the players to vacate the chat.
Oh,
because
no.
It's time, I think, for our first poll.
Oh no!
Time for a poll. So I will ask my
That's
Shadow
very good.
DM to prepare the poll and launch it. And as always, audience members, the poll will run for about 10 minutes. You can vote as many times as you like with channel points. So if there's something you like up there, please do give more votes to your favorites. And we'll see who wins in the end. Excellent. And of course, separate from that, you can't use bits for votes anymore, but you can use them to cheer for our heroes. So as they go through their inspirations, everyone's pretty full up right now. The counter's at 20%, but those cheers are going to potentially buy back inspirations as the players use them. Okay.
Raven, that animated GIF is very good. I don't know if I can add it while the stream is live, but I'm going to see if I can toss it up at break.
Awesome.
It's so good.
Nice.
There.
Okay, so
The chat.
so yeah, Kangar is very interested. Raven, I believe you were looking for ways to send word ahead. You had sent word with some of your contacts in Dwimmerdell to try and set up this this fight before you get there. But to what degree do you want to involve your companions in trying to set this up? Because you are very well aware that there are magical means of communication that some of your friends have used in the past. But it
I'll
depends
let
on
them
what
know.
you want to bring
I'll
them
let
into.
them know now. So I've been thinking, especially with the way that you want to see me considerate in bringing this up. That funding is sometimes an issue. And so I have some contacts. I think if we combine efforts, we can set up a really incredible show with the two of you fighting. And I don't mind throwing some support in that way, be it just through clout, but also like financially and socially.
I will invest, and I'll just pull another like handful of money out of my coat and
Excellent.
hand it over to Morgan.
Grampy's walking around money.
Yep, mix of like copper coins, gold, but also gold coins and precious gems,
Knowing that
buttons,
it's
hard candies.
also got disgusting things in there as per last time. She's already laid out a little handkerchief that has NM as the initials on it.
Monogrammed.
Oh, thank you. Wonderful. So yeah, I've already contacted some people, put out word, but be a little bit easier if we could get a hold of people directly, maybe through magical means.
So I know that Perny doesn't have much like sending type magic, but I think Fetid can send an animal, like a bird, ahead of us, maybe to like
Yeah.
squawk at someone with the news.
Send a tweet.
Yeah, send a tweet.
It's
And
only
send.
painful because you got there first.
Yeah, exactly. Do we
No,
want
No, it's more
to...
painful because we can't send tweets anymore. Everything's on fire.
It doesn't have. It needs the blue check mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would we want to? Because the previous fight promoter, I think that
It was
I think
super
we took
corrupt.
down Vince McDuero.
Yeah.
Do we have who's left over that we know there? The only person I know in Ravenfall is the Lady Nightshade who runs it, and I think I'm gonna have to make a better first impression than one of Fetid's squawking birds.
Well, let's just send it to Basilisk. I don't know who her new manager is, but like that's her pit, so she'll talk to. Am I
acquainted with this person, Lane, already?
With Basilisk?
No, Lady Nightfall.
Nightshade? Oh, well, you are familiar. You know who Lady Nightshade is.
Yeah.
Is Copernicus actually mentioning having
He's infamous
connection with her?
No, I think he only said what it wouldn't occur to him to make an introduction. But yeah, he would just mention that like the only person I know is her, and I need to make a good impression when we arrive. I guess I will say to Raven, yeah, we left the city under we'd exposed some political corruption and a rigged fight ring, and burned down the house a little bit on our way out, and
just a bit.
The lady of the city is formerly intimately known to me, and also that didn't end on great terms, and just things are a little complicated.
I would like a
Godfrey is shocked. Pit fighting is staged. What? What?
Not a good fight. Not a good fight.
He's not so much disgusted as really considering the possibilities.
I'd like a composure check from Morgan.
Ooh.
So roll me a d20. This is effectively going to be a charisma save, which you are really good at. You have a +8.
Uh, 12 on the dice.
So yeah, it's a dirty 20. You're okay.
Ooh, nice.
There's maybe a little flash of surprise in Morgan's eyes. But the phrase that the Lady Nightshade was intimately known to me, coming from Copernicus, is so you have lived in Ravenfall a significant amount of time. You're aware of the Countess Nightshade, who is been the de facto ruler of Ravenfall for as long as anyone can remember. No one's particularly sure if she's immortal. She is widely rumored to be, if not an archfey, then at least like very strongly powered by the Fae, and generally not someone that anyone would particularly want to, cross or otherwise encounter at all if one could avoid it. So yeah, not a phrase you expected to hear in your lifetime.
Encounter? I hardly know her.
Yeah, and intimately known, obviously your involvement with your cult, of course, is that you have so many questions.
I imagine Nightshade does not frequent the cult.
No. No, you'd be surprised if Nightshade is not aware of the cult of blood, sugar, sex, magic. But she certainly is not a member.
I love her, sir.
Yet.
Yet. Well, now maybe you're like, Copernicus. Maybe we should talk. But I'll remind you that you were talking about.
I don't know if I'm ready to talk to Copernicus about it. I mean, he is very dark, but I think he's still pining over his wife.
He's in a monogamous relationship with a ghostly bucket.
Yep. Yeah, it occurs to you though that like you've already been like sort of wondering about the undeath status of Copernicus, and so maybe this is before he met his wife. If Nightshade is immortal and this guy is immortal, who knows what misty depths of time this might have occurred in. But I will remind you that you were looking to, you had sent word sort of by normal means to your contact, Tiefling Dominatrix in Ravenfall, Pudenza Direlust.
Oh god.
Pudenza Direlust, of course.
I remember it being ridiculous.
The lady Pudenza Direless, thank you very much. So you could look at other means of sending more rapid communication to her. And people have mentioned Fetid's animal messengers, and Fetid, sort of looks up from eating bilge rats to say that, yeah, sure, he could. There's lots of seabirds around here. He could send one of them with a message if somebody wants him to.
Can any of them carry a rabbit, so that it could be indeed rabbit communication? I'm sorry I said that. I regret that.
Good.
No,
Good.
he can get a seabird to send a tweet. Or rather a direct message.
Can we do it in like one turn?
One turn. Oh God.
Oh my god.
Yes, an Arctic
An
turn.
Arctic turn?
Oof.
I think that's the wrong time zone, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the north.
You're in the north.
We're in the north.
You might be able to find an Arctic turn. Okay, so I see that the
We can
poll
find
has
one or
ended.
skua. Sorry, I have an infinite list of birds. I'm just gonna keep going.
Ooh,
Just letting everyone know, since the poll has ended, it's safe for the players to return.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you very much to the chatters.
I'm excited and terrified.
Mhm. Excellent. So what's the plan here in terms of communication? Do you want to send word to people, and to whom?
I was wondering if you got sending stone be quickest. We could deliver that.
Sir Godfrey might have some sending stones in his inventory, but they don't work that way. You would have to have someone would have to have the other stone, and
Oh,
you
that's
would
what I
have
mean.
both of them for selling.
If we
Oh,
have
do you mean like
Send
a
one
scroll
with
of
the bird.
sending? Ah.
you mean sending
wait.
a sending stone by
The Raven.
animal
By Raven.
messenger?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be. That might make it a little heavy for an animal messenger. Because remember, birds got to fly like for days.
But wait, haven't we found out that birds can carry 2 halves of a coconut via Monty Python rules?
Yeah, yeah,
Has
yeah.
that not been established yet in this universe?
That was only African swallows,
Oh, right.
not a
Okay.
European swallow.
Right. Okay.
I'm glad that they don't spit. It's only polite.
No. Oh.
Welcome to Trash Heroes, everybody.
Dun, 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 dun,
But I think that would be the nicest and most badass way to communicate with them.
Nice
So-
and
Perhaps.
at the same time. Interesting.
So I guess it depends on, if Morgan is asking about sending stones. Sir Godfrey, you have those for sale.
At reasonable prices, I might add. Just highest quality. I'm might as well cut my own trunk off at these prices. It's
I love how
It's,
we've just rescued you from certain death, and you're still
Yes, correct.
charging
Yeah,
us.
it's a wonder anything survived. It only because we took swift action.
That's
Well, I don't
another
want you to
bridge.
cut yourself. Maybe we don't need to buy them. I don't know.
This seems like a bartering
Mm.
scenario.
Yeah.
It would be nice to
excellent.
have sending stones because we have a lot of people we need to talk to.
Well, sending stones are two-way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So one person has one stone, one has the other.
But like, how often have we
Correct.
been like, we need to talk to Dan Golf, like right now?
Yeah.
So this is great. Morgan is really good at persuasion for a negotiation here. Which way would this go? I guess both of you would roll both
Negotiation.
the persuasion and the insight.
what does my barter add to this?
Yes, so barter is a specific merchant power that you have.
Ooh.
which acts sort of like a bardic inspiration. You have 6 uses per long rest of a 1d8 bonus to any negotiation related skill check.
Mhm.
So Morgan, roll your persuasion with your big bonus, and Sir Godfrey, roll your insight with your bonus d8.
Mm.
Because this is one of your bartering
Uh,
tools.
I'm also going to
So-
be using Bend Luck, so it's a D8 minus
Yeah.
a D4.
Ooh.
For, you know,
Okay, so subtract a d4 from Sir Godfrey's roll. So
okay.
you've got a plus 9 to insight.
Whew, I got a 15 on the dice.
Hey,
I guess I can't guidance if I've Bent Luck. I don't know what kind of action that takes.
I've got a 15 plus 5 minus a D6, you said?
D4.
No,
D4.
minus
Oh,
a d4.
Okay. I know what those look like.
It's the
They're the
triangle.
pointy ones. They're the ones that
Oh.
hurt when
Caltrops.
you step on.
There's
Oh,
so
where's-
many pointy ones.
They're the caltrops.
16, 25 total.
Okay, and Morgan has rolled a 15 plus
Does
8.
Bend Magic take the action that a guidance would be able to take?
You can. I'll give you the guidance in advance. When you're not in combat time, it doesn't take much to do a guidance because it's
Okay.
plus a d4. But if I'm doing that, then I'm going to give the guidance to Sir Godfrey too, because he also has that spell. And so when you
Yeah.
both realize you're entering negotiations, each of you can add a d4.
Oh yeah, okay. Do you want to roll the D4 or can I?
Well, each of you roll your own.
Okay.
This is
I'm
like
using this little guy.
an immovable force.
Yeah. Makes
Uh,
sense.
Immovable rock and an
So
unstoppable
that's-
force.
+2.
It's great.
So what did you roll on Raven on the d4?
+2.
Okay,
I
so
got a
that's
2
a
on that.
total of 25 for Morgan.
I just rolled a plus 3, so I'm at 28.
Ooh.
Okay, and now let's roll the other way. So now I want Sir Godfrey to roll persuasion and Morgan to roll insight.
Can
Okay.
I silvery barbs him with
With
a
Throwing
silent
some
spell?
fairy magic in.
You'd have to fail for that to be.
No. Silvery
Nope.
Barbs is
To succeed.
It's a
six,
reroll.
yeah. So he succeeded on an ability check.
Mhm.
I just have to decide whether how I'm going to define this, because this is not a success fail ability check. This is a contested. So there is no threshold. It's based on each other's rolls, and he succeeded in the sense that he beat you.
Yeah.
So I guess why don't you save it and we'll see what the full roll looks like, and then you can decide,
Okay.
because you can only use it on one of these two. So now you roll your persuasion, Morgan.
Oh.
Or the other way, right?
Or sorry, your insight. Yeah, Morgan's rolling insight and Sir Godfrey's rolling persuasion.
Okay.
And once again, both of you can add a D4 from guidance, and you can add your D8 from barter. You won't be able to subtract the D4 this time because you can only do it once on in this particular interaction. So for Morgan
18.
has a plus 9 insight as well.
Ooh.
You rolled what on the die?
18 and a 3 on my D4.
So 18, 19, 21. So that's like 30 total.
Sir Godfrey did not roll so well. He got a 6 and a 7 and a 3.
So
So-
basically, this comes to nothing, effectively. So Sir Godfrey turns out to be an incredibly shrewd negotiator. He is, in fact, a merchant class. His character
Oh,
class is merchant, which gives him a lot of bonuses to do this.
Well,
I think even if I were to let you do the silvery barbs, he has some means to have given himself a advantage on the roll, which kind of would just net it out. Nothing. So effectively, Morgan is incredibly charming with fairy magic, and Sir Godfrey is incredibly shrewd with the magic of the merchant class. And you basically get into this like ridiculous level negotiation that leaves you both thinking you got the better deal.
Perfect.
Good. Good. I'm
And then
picturing
in
like
the end, Copernicus just pays for it anyway and doesn't really care.
you're like this like deep, intense haggling over like little cups of
I
tea.
If they
Honor-
had multiple, the negotiation would be for like getting a cheaper price on 2 sets.
You
Try
want
to
to
buy
get
in
2
bulk?
sets
Yeah.
total, or just one?
Everyone
you
has
mean
to roll
a pair
again.
of stones
Everyone
or
has to
two?
roll again.
No.
Yeah, 2 sets total. So four
Okay.
4 stones altogether. They're
I'm gonna
probably
roll
separate.
to see if he has enough.
Yeah.
If he has more than 1 set in stock. Sir Godfrey's stock tends to be maximum variety, so not like high numbers of specific items.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll.
If it is maximum profit.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm rolling a D3 to determine how many you have in stock. If it's only one, it's only one. It is in fact 2, so you
Oh,
can basically fulfill this.
We'll take 'em all.
So, role playing wise, what does this look like? Alina mentioned that like there's like a tea like is there magical servants? Like let's have a.
First, I must say, honor is satisfied. Honor is my accountant.
That's just one of the unseen servants.
Yeah. Morgan's thrown out a lot of flair and seeming to do nothing. At one point, she emerged with a fan to distract you away from talking about group pricing and not having a discount on that. And that the wind was always in her favor, the wind and the light. So
The fairy magic ambiance.
yeah,
The light just is always in your eyes, the wrong moment,
yeah.
glinting off the gold rim on the teacup.
And also just being very confusing. So like anytime you started talking about like group rates in math, she'd like throw gibberish out there. She'd talk
Like
about like,
other
oh, you
random
use that
numbers.
system, but like you're like, what do you? No.
Oh, you mean
So
Euclidean
is-
math?
So it is half off then.
Isn't it technically 2 for 1 if each set is 2 stones? So that should apply to the entire purchase. Yeah.
I heard something about a BOGO.
And then from Sir
We've got-
Godfrey's side,
Anybody who says that, I swat them, and it's my BOGO stick.
and there's just like an instant like
Language
setup
here.
of like there's like a pop-up magic tea service table that is brought out of a bag at some point and goes pop bing. It's a full tea service. A magical floating teapot comes over and fills your cups during the exchange. It's quite fascinating to those of you who are not in this world.
I would say it's T-Mobile, except that it can't be because it has good service. So.
Yeah, right?
Well done, everybody.
Excellent.
We did it.
Una has
over.
glazed over
Fast.
during this process. This is way above her pay grade. There's a lot
I
of
think-
talking and a lot of technical terms.
I think Fernie is actually pretty fascinated watching
One
two
of-
masters of their craft go head to head.
It's like a
Yeah.
chess match.
Morgan, rather than asking for a chair, just asks Ugna to take a knee and sits daintily on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine some of the confusing tactics that Morgan might take are like straight up seduction, like things that would leave Sir Godfrey like uncomfortable or kind of flustered at any given point.
The bend and snap is like utilized at least once.
The bend, luck, and snap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, some spells require hand motion. This one requires bending over. It's a little bit harder to do as you get older, but there are salves for that.
Okay, so yeah, in the end, a price is agreed on. Both of you feel like you got the better part of a deal.
Very satisfying.
Both of
day
you,
negotiating.
both of you kind of like step away from this with like satisfaction from the process.
Yeah.
A worthy
and,
opponent.
and with Copernicus's wealth background, he has no problem making the price.
I got a ticket to the bartering show, so I got exactly what I got my money's worth. I'm happy.
Someone in the chat says both walk away thinking sucker.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
No, I think that's what the tentacle monster walked away thinking.
Oh my god.
No, that's when you guys walk away from a tentacle monster.
Yeah.
They've got them all the time. It doesn't cross their mind. That's not their word for it.
Copernicus is pretty familiar with suckers being on his mind.
Recently,
Yeah.
Intimately.
Intimately.
John, just to, I know you haven't been following all of the story, but yeah, they recently dealt with a halfling illithid.
I don't know if you can see the chat, John.
Oh no. What has happened?
I am summoning a terrible picture.
Yeah.
Oh, on the stream?
Yeah.
Is this the picture that Randy drew?
Oh no, I was just gonna put up the Tingler cover.
Yeah, the Tingler cover.
Yeah, like a catchy pop song. Tentacles have been on his mind like a brain worm.
Oh, we haven't fought one of those yet. Here we go.
Yeah.
Push to the Tingler
Oh,
cover.
Are you putting up the Tingler cover? So our chat basically dared.
Oh my god.
The chat dared. What was it? Oh, you, Morgan. Right. Raven offered the I don't remember exactly how the offer was made, but basically the chat.
Down this dark road.
The chat had to. Yeah, the chat had to hit a certain number of subs.
Oh right.
And if they did it, there would be art produced of this moment when
they went above and beyond as well, and that's why we got the cover and the.
And Peter wrote a short story in the style of Chuck Tingle.
It was.
That was entitled
Chef's
"An
Kiss.
Intellect Devoured My Butt."
Very good.
It hurts so much.
It's perfect.
That's what he said.
It's so good.
Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. So this carries on. Well, tonight, and the intent then, Morgan, is that you want to have Fetid send one of the pair of stones on to your contact in Ravenfall, so that you can communicate.
That'd be the best, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so Fetid can easily, when catching sight of a larger seabird, because you want to make sure it can carry the weight. So anything much bigger than a seagull.
Gotta carry that weight. Sorry.
Exactly. But he can full on cast Animal Friendship rather than Animal Messenger, which will work better for this purpose. And just say, get into a conversation with like a skua or or a frigate bird or something like that that's following the ship, and say, hey buddy, I can get you a bunch of fish if you take this stone to this place. And he'll cast Animal Messenger as well, just because the Animal Messenger spell will go to the person, so he doesn't have to know the directions, and he'll just be like, "Yeah, follow this little guy," and do the Animal Messenger, which creates a little. I think Animal Messenger actually creates a magical animal, right? Or am I misremembering?
Yeah, I think so.
If it doesn't, I'm hand waving it just because it's easier.
Can I get him to summon me some sort of messenger as well, and I'll just like messily scrawl a quick note to Basilisk, because it's her ring. We can't fight there unless she's gives us a say so. So she should know what's going to arrive in port in a few days.
Animal Messenger has to be done on another animal, so yeah, he can just do that with another animal. He says, yeah, but he's starting to run out of spell slots here.
We will feed him and let him have a nap.
I'll cast guidance on the messenger bird. and I'll give him a little snack.
Just to give it a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know what goal.
Yeah.
We've all been on fire today. It's very good.
So he'll do animal friendship.
Randy's
to
not even
send
here
the
to
stone.
like grump at us every time we do a pun. I miss it.
Yeah, I know.
I miss it. It's not as sweet.
I have now, at this point in my career, drawn close to 8,000 Munchkin cards. Like, literally, that is not an exaggeration. So I am so immune to puns at this point. It is
Excellent.
for power.
Never immune to puns. Like, it's the cringe. Like, maybe I'm just a little bit of a masochist, but like the cringe is like part of the joy.
Oh, the cringe is what makes it good. Yum.
Just double checking.
I've
Okay.
gone into pocket in bribing the sun to help light my scene again today.
Nice, nice,
Excellent.
nice.
Nice.
Very atmospheric.
The little lights that are a little bit too harsh on the green
Ooh.
screen just make it a little raised. It's very cute.
It's nice. Cringe and punishment. Excellent. The chat is also on fire.
So, Peter,
Yeah.
are you excited to do another short story? I'll
Yeah, I'll sign up. Yeah,
I think cringe and punishment would be a perfect theme.
Yeah, yeah, that would be.
Cringe and punishment. Oh dear God.
Yeah.
What's on offer? What's the deal?
Who's
What's
also
the
who's
deal for
starring
the
in this
chat,
one?
Morgan?
I think
First
I
of all,
think
Cringe and Punishment is Sir Godfrey's law firm.
Good. That's where honor works.
Okay. Already, I will be making the law firm's shop front door front, so the logo will be made. That's
Excellent.
already gonna happen. That's guaranteed. That's on the table.
Grimes and punishment is
It's
just
paid for.
fetid
Yeah.
sex tape.
But I think we can get another little fic for Crimes and Punishment. Is it a bodice ripper, or is it maybe like a sultry noir? I kind of like it.
Oh,
A procedural,
Ooh.
Yeah,
a legal procedural as
Yeah.
of a la last game, or do you
Maybe-
even want to like make it specifically the negotiation between the Shrouded Ones and Copernicus on the legal wranglings?
Ooh. I was thinking as well. It could be like murder at a Bard College.
Ooh.
If anyone's gonna be punning it up in a deadly
Yeah.
fashion, I would say Bards would probably be it.
Yeah, I definitely think you could do some really cool like noir detective vibes out of that. Yeah, I'll sweeten the pot with a bit of flash fiction, a little bit of microfiction. I'm in.
If it's bards, that would just be sex and violence.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Good. Good.
True.
Excellent.
True.
All right. So the shop storefront graphic will be made for the law
Yeah.
firm. That's already there. Five gift subs, and then we'll have Peter write up our fic.
Oh, I was just edited. Sex and violence.
Oh.
Good.
Nice.
Right,
Actually-
because it's
Sex
it's
and violence has got to
Sex
be
and
the
violence.
isn't that like a comic? Sax and Violins.
It's gotta be.
Sax and Violins is definitely a.
Yeah. the
Oh, that's a Talking Head song.
Oh, nice. Good.
really.
I didn't
Yeah,
know. I was just gonna say it sounds like a
pretty sure.
late '90s webcomic about music college.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive I've heard a song called that, and I'm looking it up now because I
Hey, beep beep.
distinctly remember the voice of what's his name? Talking Heads.
David Byrne.
It could
Burn,
be a
yeah,
high
yeah, yeah.
school, yeah. Could be a high school or college
Yep.
movie. I mean, this one time at band.
Oh
camp.
yeah, band kids, sexy band kids comic.
I think that's definitely going to be left to Peter's. So what's the threshold? What has to
Five
happen?
gift subs.
5 gifted.
5 gift subs.
I'm up
All
for,
right.
for doing another cover anytime you do a flash fiction.
All right, everybody. That is the that's what's happening here. So everybody
You get
in
a
the
book
chat.
cover, you get a flash fiction, and you get a the storefront logo of the law firm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a sweet thought, friends.
Okay.
I'm only
Excellent.
here to make Peter make awful things. That's the only reason I
Your
joined
goal
the
in
game.
life.
I had no idea who he was before, and then I was like, I'm in.
Yes. I
You
know
knew,
my
you
mission-
knew who
my
he was,
mission
but you
is
didn't
clear.
know who he was.
No, like the core of who he was, no. That had to be learned in game.
You had to learn
Yeah.
the truth of Peter.
I'm all about overcommitting to a bad bit. Like that's who I am as a person.
Okay, so yeah, the day goes on and the ship continues its journey northward now. And as you do so, you soon come near to the bay of Aldercove.
Throw the map up. Where is it?
And by evening, you draw near the mouth of the bay, which effectively, yeah. So you can see the series of islands. There are some shoals there. So by late in the day, the ship has to start, like, being a little more careful about their exactly where they steer between the islands. Since you're making your way to Ravenfall, you can either skirt closer to the shore, which is what the small boats do, or further out to sea, which is what the big boats do, and that's of course what the Ivory Rose will be doing, out around the islands, away from Aldercove, and up due north to Ravenfall. And as evening begins to set in, there is a period of time where it would be useful for everyone to make a perception check.
Ooh.
And I was gonna say, Perny will do the rounds to make sure that everyone is wearing their earplugs, either on, if not in, then on their person.
6.
He's being safety officer.
Oh,
Ugna notices nothing.
One thing
It's on brand.
that got lost in our pun storm.
Our punder
Was
store?
that?
We were plunderstruck, yeah.
Oh no, it's so awful. Morgan's
Can't stop
idea
us.
was that she would have one sending stone. Copernicus would have the other set. Would be carrying both stones.
Sorry, so just to keep
So-
it straight, so you're sending how many of the stones to Ravenfall?
So one sending
One of
stone,
each?
one receiver. No, just one.
So one of the sending stones is going to Ravenfall. The partner of sending stone, you, Morgan, are keeping.
No, the partner. Or yeah, I guess I'll hold on to that.
Because you're sending it to your contact. So.
Yeah, so she can talk to you.
And then.
And then the other set of stones, you're keeping one, and Copernicus has the other.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Can I spend some time wiring it into the Perny net so that we can have Morgan in the Perny net without having to sign my creepy book?
Fuck that book. I mean, it's a nice collection.
Yeah, I envision a scene in which Copernicus is like, oh, now that you're traveling with us, would you like to sign my book? And you have to sign in your own blood, and it's fine. And there's this like a little contract page, and you just sign it in your own
Binding
blood, and
magical
it's fine,
contract.
right? Nothing strange or
No,
unusual.
that's totally fine. Haha.
Good. Good.
And he'll show you the other pages where every other member of the party has done this,
Yep.
which is
None of them
hilarious.
have died. None of them have died. They're all
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Actually, that's not true at all. There has been healing. I guess it doesn't count as dying if
Not
you're down at zero
died,
points and haven't
died.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
They've
no one's
had a
been raised
glimpse
yet.
of the other side
It's fine.
momentarily.
I mean, who hasn't?
But it's. I understand Morgan probably is not ready for that yet, if ever. So
For that level of
can I
commitment.
can I try and like jerry rig some kind of connection between the sending stone and the book so that I can at least like CC Morgan on all the communications and hear back.
Different operating systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, if not though, you can avail of the expertise of Sir Godfrey, who as an artificer could potentially help you rig such a system up.
An artificer with reasonable rates, indeed.
It sends audio remotely between people, and but there's a little bit of disharmony. You call it Discord, maybe.
Discord.
I have definitely heard people refer to or use the sending stones and as texting. It's like
Yes.
getting there with your thumbs and write the sending message and then it sends. But with magical tinkering, that's such a minor kind of idea of just making it, we've been hand waving the actions required already. Because technically, I think I mentioned this last stream, technically to use the far scribe feature of your Pact of the Tome, each sending is its own action, and we've just been kind of going, this makes more sense if
Let's
it's
just have
like
a
one-off
conversation.
thing.
Yeah.
So basically, as long as it doesn't happen like really majorly in combat scenario, I'm happy to hand wave it anyway. So no problems. Sir Godfrey does a little magical tinkering.
I take Discord and I combine them and
Take
Discord
Discord and Discord.
Do you think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could help me with I have this idea for modification, and then she'll draw out a little conch shell headpiece situation
Nice, nice.
where it's basically a conch Bluetooth, like that like hooks onto her ear,
Little
her horn.
Bluetooth for your sending stone.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like a little conch earring thing.
This is also doable.
I need to be up on all of these forms of communication because Sir Godfrey is heavily invested in BitCrown.
Oh, that's a bad one. Yeah. You gotta get out of that.
Yep. You've been hearing a few things. Actually, I'll throw this tidbit of actual game plot your way that you've been hearing.
You mean we have to stop making shit up for 5 minutes?
I'm just adding some
We're
more
just riffing.
shit to the
It's
pile,
good.
frankly. Sir Godfrey has actually been approached a number of times now by people who are interested in setting up this magical goods delivery service for like making the movement of goods around the world more convenient. And there's a number of major magical investors. People refer to some of the mages who are involved, include the maestro of Karsh, who is a great sort of artificer inventor. And you've heard of the backer of all this, of the Lord Jaus, who is that's XAOS, who is the first name Baal. So yeah, you've heard of this Lord Baal Jaus and his attempt to build this. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm trying to remember the name that we settled on for the actual what they're calling the service.
Universal
I'll maybe look that up.
Sorcery, yeah.
I'll double check that.
Is that named after the
It was
wizard who started
Valkyrie.
it,
It was
the
Valkyrie.
Ubermensch?
That's what it
Oh,
was.
right.
It was the delivery service was going to be called the Valkyrie delivery service. But my Shadow DM
esteemed
points out the
female
name
warriors.
of Baal Jaus's company is called Nyx. In any case, you've heard of this
Is this
being
no,
built
okay.
by being funded by Lord Jaus is a big deal, but then also having a bunch of different disparate powerful mages in different areas interested. You definitely heard a lot about this amongst the merchant circles in Dwimmerdale, because there's a lot of magic merchant stuff going on in Dwimmerdale. And honestly, your business model lately, for the last like decade at least, has really been built around going to Dwimmerdale to get lots of magical tchotchkes, because that's the place where you can get that kind of stuff real easy, and then traveling around the Rim, the Great Ring Road, to take stuff to Karsh and the Southlands, and sell that stuff. Yeah, the idea of having a means of magical transport, like, it wouldn't take away, you know, the whole, like, the caravan aspect, because you'd still have to go from town to town to do selling, but like the actual the wildlands part where there's nothing in between, having goods delivered from Dwimmerdale to, say, Karsh, and then just going from there through the much safer territories to do your selling would be incredibly valuable. So you've been keeping an ear to the ground about
very, very
Baal
large.
Jaus.
And yeah, it's a prime idea.
Yes. There's some talk of you know, upselling, you know, and having like different levels, especially because the cost, like, it's difficult to arrange this magically. So there might be lesser versions that involve like flying transport devices, and greater versions involving teleportation. And so that might be like a Valkyrie and a Valkyrie Prime kind of a situation. So see what happens. It's still being workshopped.
Yeah.
I hear the greatest competitor is the Ubermensch.
Yeah, but that's mostly about you know, moving people, not so much goods.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they need a lift.
There's talk about a food delivery kind of
Yeah.
behind that too. Yep.
I kind of miss those greasy waffles that where we first met.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, Baba Yaga's. He's the
Baba
best.
Yaga's Waffle House.
Are we too? And we're too. I assume we're too far out for it to appear suddenly in the middle of the ocean.
No, it really works in Dwimmerdale. When you mention it in Dwimmerdale, one of them shows up, but or it. No one knows. Like, are there lots of them, or is there just one that magically?
I hear
gets
there's
summoned?
only Baba Yaga's in the South and Indianapolis for no reason.
That's right, and they run, like, even if there's like a hurricane, you can still get Baba Yaga's. And where was I here? So yes, so perception rolls, please.
6.
Oh, dirty 20.
Right, we had the dirty 20, we had the 6. What else we got?
A very dirty 10.
Okay. And Morgan?
13 altogether.
Okay, so the only one that is made here is Copernicus, so that's the only one that will be relevant when we come back from break. Because I think it's probably reasonable. We're slightly early, but I think that before we get into actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do the reveals and then we'll cliffhanger it. So Copernicus, as the dusk is beginning to fall and the ship is bearing further to the east to make around these islands, and all the ship's lookouts are on close watch for reef and shoal, and making sure that the ship skirts the islands, but of course they don't want to go too far out into the Evermere where the greater monsters and problems are. You're kind of flying around the rigging, you know, trying to pretend half-heartedly, because you've been doing it for a while, so you're sort of like just kind of like randomly touching the ropes every once in a while to be like, well, look at me climbing, I'm certainly not flying around. But you notice out the other direction a wave that seems to move in a different direction of the other white caps. There's a bit of wind and there's a bit of rough sea further out, but you think you spotted a wave that was moving the other direction, which was very strange. And that's where we'll leave to
I don't
go
like this.
to break.
All right, we will see y'all in 10 minutes, somewhere like that.
Yeah, we'll do the usual
Yep.
time. We go about like 5 after or so.
Cool. 10 minutes.
Awesome.